time to move and keep moving, America. Wherever you are, however you can. Movement reduces your risk of diabetes, heart disease, and cancer. It improves your brain function, pain management, and immune system. And when you need help, physical therapists and physical therapist assistants are by your side, increasing your strength and mobility and improving your quality of life through prescribed exercise and teamwork. Because we are meant to climb, to dance, to soar, to thrive. Choose to move. Choose physical therapy.
These days, news seems to come from all directions, and it can be overwhelming. Simplify your intake by watching news from where you live. WJFW NBC News Watch 12. We deliver critical local and national news, sports highlights, and weather updates. Watch us daily on Channel 12. Visit us at WJFW.com or like us on Facebook. We are NBC News Watch 12. You're watching News Watch 12. News from where you live.
You know, I think it's probably best, let people work through some more.
Right now on News Watch 12 today, see how close Congress is to finally electing a Speaker of the House. Plus,
all right, here we go. So we've got some snow on the way. It's starting to move in right now. Your full forecast is coming up.
and see how the mayors of Wisconsin welcome Tony Evers to his second term as governor in Madison. It's Thursday, January 5th.
News Watch 12 today with Michael Lodeholtz and Devin Biggs.
Good morning. Thanks for starting your day with us today. I'm Michael Lodeholtz. And it was a nice morning this morning. No ice on the vehicle. Got a new window scraper just to finish, in case any more ice rain did come down. And Devin Biggs is in the Weather Center now with me. And Devin, good weather heading up our way?
We got one more day of some interesting weather on the way, and then things will finally begin to calm down. So let's get things rolling out here at this point. Again, Park Falls, we are seeing here some snow that's on the way, and it's causing the roads that might get a little bit slippery from time to time, so we'll need to keep an eye on that as it does develop. All right, winter weather advisories are up for Ashland and Iron counties only because of that snowfall that does continue to fall, but everyone else looking okay, no advisories up, but the roads are slippery outside this morning. So if you do have to head out the door, definitely make sure to be careful as you do travel. Definitely make sure to allow extra time. It was slippery for me coming into work this morning. The snow continues to rotate in with the area of low pressure located right nearby. We'll see this thing slowly tracking off towards the east. So once it finally begins to move through, things will begin to calm down or so. So again, here's the temperatures right now. We are in the middle to upper 20s, some 30s further down toward the south. So temperatures that remain stable, but we'll start seeing these falling later on and really begin to cool off. And our out-the-door forecast moving forward, we're going to be seeing temperatures in the upper 20s today, but notice they start cooling off later on this evening with the chances for snow.
New details are being released in January 6th Capitol investigation. The former Republican Party of Wisconsin chair claiming Senator Ron Johnson suggested lawmakers not vote or they should pick electors. The newly released testimony by the former Republican Party of Wisconsin chair Andrew Hilt told the Congressional Committee about the December 7th, 2020 interaction with Johnson. Hilt says he held a conference call that day with the county GOP chairs and pushed back against false claims of illegal vote dumps in Milwaukee on election night. Hilt says Johnson called him after saying, quote, "We need to have our legislature choose the electors." Hilt then texted State Republican Party of Wisconsin Executive Director Mark Jefferson about the call. Johnson says he has no recollection of this phone call with Hilt. Governor Tony Evers met with the mayors of Wisconsin's 5 largest cities behind closed doors for about an hour on Wednesday, one of the first official acts of his second term. The meeting comes as Evers said the legislature weigh making substantial changes to how local governments, including cities, are funded. The mayors of Milwaukee, Madison, Racine, Green Bay, and Kenosha all met privately with Evers. The mayors, like Evers, are all Democrats. Evers has called for increasing funding for local governments through the shared revenue program by 4% in each of the next 2 years, which would be a $91 million increase. His plan includes $10 million in funding to be spent specifically on police, fire, and emergency services, with the money distributed based on population. The Wisconsin legislature is moving quickly to put a constitutional amendment on the April ballot. That would make it harder for criminal defendants to get out of jail on bail. The proposal has been around for years, but it gained new momentum last year after the Waukesha Christmas parade tragedy. Darrell Brooks Jr. posted a $1,000 bail just 2 days before the parade after being accused of shooting his nephew during a fight. The change would allow courts to consider the totality of the circumstances in a case, including whether the accused has been convicted for a violent crime in the past. Republican sponsors of the measure introduced it again on Wednesday. If it will get on the April ballot, it will be up to voters to decide whether to approve it. And federal regulators have determined that a lack of safeguards during a maintenance shutdown led to 2018 explosion at an oil refinery in Superior. The U.S. Chemical Safety Board released a final report last week on April 2018 explosion. The blast injured 36 workers, and fears of a hydrofluoric acid leak forced 2,500 residents to evacuate. Investigators determined that the facility failed to put proper safeguards in place. And despite fears of a possible recession, manufacturers in Northeast Wisconsin have a positive outlook for 2023. The Northeast Wisconsin Manufacturing Alliance released its 2023 Manufacturing Vitality Index report last month. It found that 99% of the 122 surveyed companies believe they will be financially healthy this year, and 71% think sales will increase. A majority of the companies surveyed also reported plans to make investments in facilities and recruitment in 2023 and beyond. In the 2023 Outlook report, 75% of respondents say they plan to invest in plant modernization or facility upgrades, which is up from 46% from 2013. About 1 in 3 respondents say their company plans to expand in Wisconsin in the next 12 to 24 months.
The Republican quest to find a Speaker of the House remains in limbo.
You know, I think it's probably best, let people work through some more.
Despite 6 attempts, Representative Kevin McCarthy failed to secure his bid for House Speaker.
The contrast between House Democrats on the chaos and confusion taking place on the other side of the aisle could not be more clear. For the first time in 100 years, there was not an agreement for Speaker of the House.
20 Republicans voted against McCarthy in Wednesday's 6th and final vote, including Representative Lauren Boebert of Colorado. She said former President Donald Trump's support for McCarthy and Trump telling them to knock this off won't change her mind.
I think it actually needs to be reversed. The president needs to tell Kevin McCarthy that, sir, you do not have the votes and it's time to withdraw.
A source close to McCarthy says talks with conservative opponents are ongoing in an attempt to gather more votes.
We don't like what's happening, but at the same time, is the best democracy and is democracy at its best.
Meanwhile, the House can't kick off the new Congress or even swear in new members until a speaker is elected. Former Speaker Nancy Pelosi tweeted the GOP's inability to find her successor is, quote, frivolous, disrespectful, and unworthy of this institution. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
And coming up in international news, a bold new deal between France and Ukraine is going to be putting state-of-the-art equipment in the hands of the Ukrainians. And while snow has been building up across the Northwoods, find out why there is a serious lack of white powder across the mountains of Europe. Those stories and more news from around the world when we come back.
Did your holiday hosting create a couple extra stains in your carpet? Or do you just need an update for your old flooring? Come to Carpet City Flooring Center and start your year off right with free carpet installation. That's right, free carpet installation. If money is a little tight, Carpet City Flooring Center can help make your project affordable with interest-free financing. Get your free carpet installation today.
Carpet City, our prices will floor you.
It's good to be back.
Let's do it. Months ago, I worked a gang case. Are they coming after me now?
Mom, what's going on?
NYPD! Drop your weapon. Drop it now!
Does this sound familiar? You make the minimum payment, but the balance is still the same. You make a payment a few days late. Here come the late fees, past due notice, and the collection calls. We understand dealing with debt problems is not easy. It is stressful and hard, not only for you, but for your loved ones, your family. You're not alone, but you must understand debt problems only get worse unless you take action. If you owe more than $10,000 in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt, please take a minute and call the number on the screen. Learn about programs that have helped thousands of people get out of debt. Reduce your monthly payments, cut interest, and even settle your debt for a lot less than you owe. Save thousands. Get your life back. Call the number on the screen now. It's a free call, free information, and most importantly, you will have options. Remember, waiting will not make the problem go away. Call us. Our lines are now open.
All right, welcome back. Let's get things rolling out there this morning. Roadways are looking pretty covered in snow, and it's slippery, too. I came into work, and I definitely noticed my anti-lock brakes were definitely working a little bit, so definitely be careful if you do have to travel this morning for work or school. I think everything is open at this point, so this allows some extra time to get to your destination, at least moving forward. So here we go. So no advisories in our immediate viewing area, just off toward the north and west. Winter weather advisories running until about 6 a.m. this morning for Ashland and Iron counties and areas off toward the north and west because of snow that does continue to fall, but otherwise, so just be noteful that there are some slippery roads out there this morning. But here's a general idea. The snow still across pretty much our entire viewing area. Even though it's not quite showing up well on the radar, the snow does continue to fall in, but just those tiny snowflakes that do continue to fall. But we're going to keep that going about another ½ inch to an inch possible before we're all finished up. We'll zoom things out right now. So again, here we are. So kind of have a band flowing in from the east going toward the west here. The center low pressure pretty much right near us, if not just right toward our south. And that's why we're seeing all this snow this morning. We're going to keep it going today. We'll track it off to the east, maybe a few snow showers or flurries early tonight. Then by tomorrow, a nice long dry stretch starts to begin. And pretty much a good time to enjoy the trails outside, too. Even though they might still be a little bit goofy out there, they'll at least be a little bit better as this system continues to track off towards the east. So here's Futurecast kind of breaking all this down. So again, we're going to keep the snow going pretty much all day long today with rounds moving through, but starting to back off later on tonight. Holding on to the clouds overnight tonight as well. Maybe a few breaks as we head towards your Friday, but overall, we'll continue to hold on to the clouds moving forward. And by Saturday, maybe starting off with clouds, but sunshine will be out and about in abundance as we head through the weekend. So how much additional snowfall could we see? Not a whole lot, though. Maybe another ½ inch to maybe an inch before we're all finished up. Maybe localized areas up to 2 inches, but that might be a little bit of a stretch at this point. But at least another ½ inch to an inch cannot be ruled out. And the wind's not a big deal either. Maybe a few gusts up to 15 miles per hour, at least through today. And even by tonight, we're starting to look pretty good as the winds start to back off. Those temperatures right now are not bad at all. We're in the middle to upper 20s here across the northwoods. A little bit warmer to the south as we are in the lower 30s. So we're going to start seeing these temperatures cool off to single digits later tonight. That'll help to firm up some of that slush that's on some of the area lakes. So your forecast for today, upper 20s, those showers ½ inch to an inch. That's supposed to stay locally higher amounts. We'll fix that. The northeast wind getting up to about 5 to 10 miles per hour. And by tonight, here we go. Mostly cloudy, a few flurries early as things start to back off. Lows around 7 degrees. Northwest wind at about 5 miles per hour. And for your Fridays, we start to wrap up the week, calming down finally. Lower 20s, mostly cloudy. Northwest wind getting up to about 5 miles per hour. Northwoods Furniture and Mattress 7-day forecast. Look at this dry stretch. So we've added clouds in for Friday, but by the weekend and even into Monday, partly cloudy, temperatures in the 20s and 30s. Slight chance for snow now for Tuesday, mainly lake effect chances at this point. Then by Wednesday, we're mostly cloudy, highs in the mid-20s.
Thanks, Devin. France is set to become the first Western country to deliver tanks to Ukraine. The move was announced Wednesday after talks between Emmanuel Macron and Ukrainian counterpart Volodymyr Zelensky in Paris, and they have already delivered state-of-the-art artillery, armored personnel, carriers, anti-aircraft missiles, and air defense systems to the Ukraine. However, Macron has long been wary of antagonizing Russia and breaking off diplomatic contact with Vladimir Putin. NATO allies have gradually ramped up their military support to Ukraine since February of last year. They have been delivering increasingly sophisticated weapons while also publicly worrying about the risk of escalating the conflict with Moscow. It was not immediately clear how many of the French tanks would be dispatched or when they would be delivered. The funeral for Pope Emeritus Benedict XVI will take place today in the Piazza of the Vatican. After the funeral, the remains will be carried back into the basilica, where the coffin will be placed inside a zinc one and then finally into another made from oak. In keeping with Benedict's wishes, his remains will be placed in the crypt once occupied by the tomb of St. John Paul II in the grottos underneath the basilica. John Paul's tomb was moved upstairs into the main basilica after he was declared a saint by the Catholic Church in 2011. And unseasonably warm temperatures in parts of Europe have led to a snow shortage at some ski stations. Those slopes in the Alps of Austria are surrounded by snow-free green meadows. It's a very different sight than normal for this time of year, and these patches of snow are even more than what some other countries have. In France, a lack of snow has forced ski stations, especially in the Pyrenees mountain range, to shut down entirely, at least until snow conditions improve. In the Pyrenees along the French-Spanish border, only 1 in 3 ski stations have been opened recently due to the lack of snow. And coming up in medical news, see how social media is improving the neural sensitivity in teens who use more than others. Plus, find out about the latest on the new Omicron subvariant risk of COVID. Those stories and more health news when we return.
Northwoods Accents, located in Mercer, features a wide variety of high-quality custom log and rustic furniture, all made in the USA. View our best craft living room sets. Handmade products from local craftsmen. Denali blankets to warm your winter. All products have year-round low prices with no sales pressure. The owner is available to assist you with any questions. Stop by Northwoods Accents, 5079 US Highway 51 in Mercer.
Want an amazing deal? Join the Y. January 1st through January 7th and pay the day. Join January 1st and pay $1. Join January 2nd and pay $2, and so on. We even waive the joiner fee. The YMCA offers fitness classes, state-of-the-art equipment, indoor pools, and so much more. We have programs and activities for every age. Offer good at the Southwood County YMCA, the YMCA of the Northwoods, the Stephen Point Area YMCA, and the Woodson YMCA. Pay the day starts January 1st. Make 2023 the year you find your Y.
This winter, Ho-Chunk Gaming Wittenberg wants you to unleash the Snow Beast. Win a 2023 Ski-Doo Renegade Enduro snowmobile with an enclosed trailer from Anago Yamaha. Then we'll send you to AJ's Walleye Lodge in the UP for 5 days and 4 nights of serious powder. Earn points, rewards, play, and entries. We'll give it away Saturday, January 28th at 9 p.m. Unleash the Snow Beast at Ho-Chunk Gaming Wittenberg.
Stuck on eggs, burnt on batter. You can't escape the nightmare of your sticky pans. Introducing the Granite Stone Pan, the all-new durable non-stick pan. No butter or oil needed. Watch, we melted down these sticky candies in Granite Stone, and it just doesn't stick. We cooked a half a dozen eggs, bacon, cheese, and tomato breakfast with no butter or oil, and it just doesn't stick. Fire flambe or perfectly seared filet, just like the pros. Plus, it's PFOA free and 100% dishwasher safe. Call or go online to get your Granite Stone Pan for just $19.99. Granite Stone is so durable it comes with a 10-year warranty. And with every order, you're going to get a Granite Stone single-serve egg pan absolutely free. We'll even ship your entire order free. You get it all. An incredible value.
To order, call 1-800-898-6703. That's 1-800-898-6703 or order online at buygranitestone.com.
Welcome back. Roads are covered in snow and ice out there. It was hard for me to get into work, at least slippery-wise this morning. My anti-lock brakes were working, so definitely take it slow this morning until the roads are covered up. I just saw a plow go through, so the road crews are working, so just be patient as you head out the door.
And the Department of Health and Human Services has released findings from its 2021 survey on drug use and mental health. It found more than 20% of the population 12 years old and older used illegal drugs. Marijuana was the most common. More than 46 million people met the criteria, though, for a substance use disorder, with 9 million abusing opioids. Only 6% sought treatment. 1 in 4 adults and 1 in 3 young adults had a mental illness. More than 12 million adults thought about suicide. 3.5 million made a plan, and 1.7 million attempted suicide. It's unclear exactly how these numbers compare to previous years. The COVID-19 pandemic changed how the data was collected, which makes it rather difficult to compare. And frequent use of social media could be a brain changer for teenagers. According to a study by neuroscientists at the University of North Carolina, teens who check media platforms often are more likely to be sensitive to general social rewards and punishments. The study was conducted with students 12 to 13 years old when the research began. Over a 3-year period, the kids reported their social media behavior and underwent imaging of their brains. Those who checked social media more often showed greater neural sensitivity in parts of the brain, while those who checked social media less showed a little less sensitivity. It's unclear whether that's a good or a bad thing. A lead researcher says while the study showed a strong correlation between the social media habits and greater sensitivity to feedback, it cannot say for certain if one is causing the other. And as we start 2023, many health experts believe watching out for new coronavirus variants will be increasingly important to slow the spread of COVID-19 in the next year. This, as Omicron subvariants continue to circulate around the world. It's today's Health Minute. Mandy Gaither has more on how many are turning their attention to a surge in cases in China.
In the U.S., Omicron subvariants are still the cause of almost all COVID-19 infections. While Omicron spreads easily, CDC data shows it causes less severe illness and death in general than earlier variants.
I hope it continues in that direction, but there's no guarantee.
The latest Omicron subvariant now accounts for more than 40% of U.S. COVID-19 cases. Offshoots continue to spread globally as well, especially in China after the country lifted the bulk of its COVID restrictions. The surge there has prompted the U.S. to require a negative COVID test for all travelers from China beginning January 5th.
The Chinese government is not sharing the genetic information about these viruses with the rest of the world.
That's why some health experts say this travel requirement is important as new variants are likely to emerge in the future.
Perhaps, worst case scenario, a variant that could evade the protection of our current vaccines and therapeutics.
Others believe the U.S. testing requirements for travelers won't prevent new COVID-19 cases from coming to the U.S. or new variants from emerging, but it may buy the U.S. some time.
It's something that we can do to help protect the citizens of the United States.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
And coming up in the next half hour, schools are back after winter break and a new program is settling into place. Find out how Stevens Point students have a new program designed to help their hungry kids. Stay with us.
Your personal information gets exposed so often, it might as well be hanging in a museum. Everyday activities like online shopping, banking, and even data breaches may expose your information and make it dangerously easy to have your identity stolen. No wonder there's a new victim every 3 seconds.
Someone stole my information and tried to buy a car in my name. Felt really devastating, frightened, because I had no control.
And the ways identity thieves can steal and use your information are constantly evolving.
Someone used my information to open up bank accounts in my name. It was terrifying, not knowing what was out there and what had been opened.
Watching your accounts or monitoring your credit may not be enough, but protecting your identity can be easy with LifeLock, a leader in identity theft protection. LifeLock monitors threats to your identity, and if an issue is detected, sends you an alert.
It was a big yes or a big no button. I clicked that's not me, and LifeLock took it from there.
If you are a victim of identity theft, a dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix it.
If something happens, you have somebody fighting for you. I don't know what I would have done without my restoration specialist.
And you'll be covered by the LifeLock $1 Million Protection Package, including reimbursement for stolen funds, personal expenses, and coverage for lawyers and experts if needed.
With the $1 Million Protection Package, I know LifeLock has me covered.
It can be dangerously easy to steal your identity, but now it's easy to help protect yourself.
I realized identity theft can happen to anybody, so that's why I signed up for LifeLock.
Join the millions of people already protected by LifeLock, and for a limited time, save 25% with promo code 25TV. LifeLock, Identity theft protection starts here.
Call 1-800-951-7218
Or go to LifeLock.com/25TV and use promo code 25TV to save 25% on your first year of identity theft protection. Enroll now.
At WJFW, our Newswatch 12 News team works around the clock to bring you the news that matters most of all to the North Woods. Our team is committed to the community and ensuring that you are as informed as possible. The Newswatch 12 team works hard to deliver the most important stories from around the globe, local and national sports updates, and weather reports. We are NBC Newswatch 12, news from where you live.
We're here at the YMCA of the Northwoods with Danielle, and we're talking about Pay the Day.
Yes, we're talking about Pay the Day. That is our membership special right now.
Okay, so walk me through it. What is Pay the Day?
Absolutely. So Pay the Day is where from January 1st through January 7th, anybody can come into the YMCA. We will waive the joiner fee for a new membership, and you pay the day. So if you come in on January 4th, you pay $4. If you come in on January 5th, you pay $5, and so on. Regular membership dues will start in February.
My goodness, that's quite the savings. What's the normal fees for signing up?
Sure. So the normal fees for an adult membership is $45.50 a month, and for a family membership is $65.50.
My goodness, so we come in the first week of January. That's quite a savings there.
It's a huge savings, yes.
Well, that's and a great way to start off the new year's if you have any, health plans that you want to get kicked off for your resolutions.
Absolutely. We're here for mind, body, spirit, and you can reach a lot of goals here.
So, what is Winter 1, Danielle?
Winter 1 is the session where all of our classes and programs will take place for 7 weeks. Anybody can sign up now. We have member prices and general public prices.
Well, fantastic. And is there a deadline for signing up?
There is not, but classes do start this week.
Well, fantastic. Sounds like a lot going on for the new year in the YMCA.
Yes, absolutely. We're very excited for 2023.
Well, thanks for joining me, Danielle. Appreciate it. Please feel free to reach out to your local YMCA. And thanks for watching another edition of Y-Watch.
Definitely a good time to get some exercise in. If you're daring to go outside today, be careful. Roads are slick out there. It's slippery for me coming into work this morning. Still a few flurries still flying about. We'll have a few more snow showers as the day progresses on. Let's take a look at things right now. Park Falls, I've been seeing some plows outside already. So far, traffic appears to be moving just fine. Just be smart out there. Roads have some ice underneath that snow. And, of course, with that in mind, 501 Wisconsin kind of stating the obvious right now. Slippery road conditions being noted in a few areas where snow or ice covered roads are also being observed. So here we go. So we are seeing the radar on Sally showing the snow that continues to move through at this point across the state with the center of low pressure pretty much right to our south at this point. So we'll keep the snow going today, but then by later on tonight, this will start to taper off. Here's the travel forecast moving forward for today. Temperatures in the 20s across the western parts of the state, but as for us, so also a little bit cool out there too. Temperatures only in the upper 20s with those snow showers on the way. While farther down toward the south, maybe just a little bit warmer, but temperatures in the 30s. A little more coming up after the break.
Eagle River Roasters, your Northwoods coffee roaster and community coffee house, has the freshest specialty coffee and tea in the Northwoods. Our coffee comes from choice Arabica beans, hand blended and roasted on premise for the finest specialty drinks. Fresh bakery, breakfast, and lunch served daily, our comfortable coffee house is the perfect place for meeting friends or groups. The drive-thru is also open daily. Treat yourself with a great cup of coffee or take some beans to brew at home, fresh from Eagle River Roasters, your Northwoods coffee roaster and community coffee house.
Okay, are we gonna fit? There we go.
At American Family Insurance, we're here to carefully protect your dreams.
All right, open your eyes.
Welcome home.
All right, we'll see you later.
Save up to 23% when you bundle your home and auto insurance today. Get a quote or find an agent at amfam.com.
American Family Insurance.
Hope. Where are you hiding? I search for you in the seconds, the minutes of each and every day. Hear me as I call out to you. Take my hand. Lift me up as I lift up others. Welcome me home, father, mother, sister, brother, son, daughter. Hear us now. Alone we stood, divided we fell. No longer. Now we choose to make the connection. Our new mission lies within. Visit maketheconnection.net to learn more.
News Watch 12 today with Michael Lodeholtz and Devin Biggs.
Good morning. Thanks for waking up with us today. I'm Michael Lodeholtz. Jackie is off on personal leave. It was a busy week in Madison, though, with the Assembly, Senate, and statewide office holders being sworn in. While Democrats control most of the executive positions, the Republicans are in control of the legislature. In his inauguration address, the governor called for working together across party lines. Rhinelander Assemblyman Rob Swearingen says one area which Republicans and Democrats seem to not agree on is abortion. Swearingen says that legislation is up in the air.
There's a lot of opinions in the caucus of 64 Assembly Republicans on abortion, so it's not a slam dunk that's exactly what we're going to do. But for the most part, I think most of us agree that we can do an exception for rape and incest. The governor says no.
Swearingen says he supports exceptions for rape, incest, and the life of the mother. Another legislative item Republicans may explore is a flat tax.
I think that our top percentage now is at 7.5, starting somewhere in like 3.5. So that's quite a range. So I think it's something that certainly deserves the discussion and potentially the debate on the floor. Will it happen? Remains to be unseen.
Governor Evers has vowed not to support the flat tax. He's called for a more progressive tax rate that would cut taxes on the middle class. And taking a turn over to weather, this morning was a pleasant morning so far for viewers who are joining us early this morning. And looking forward and ahead, I noticed Devin Biggs, he's in the weather studio now with us. And Devin, earlier on your weather radar, I noticed we had the snow above us, snow below us, and then that gap right in the middle.
So this right here, there we go.
Exactly, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Is that because we have the gap in the satellites?
Yes, that's kind of part of the reason. And there's not much snow actually falling out here. So the answer is yes to both situations. And it's not satellite, it's the radar here.
Radar.
So you see these lines here that's rotating across the radar? That's the radar scanning the skies, basically, looking at kind of looking what's in the atmosphere at this point. And when that happens with the atmosphere, it doesn't go straight out. It goes at an angle and becomes more, I guess, messed up, for lack of a better term, as it goes farther away from the radar. And as you can tell, and I'll step over here, it's kind of hard to see some of that. So that's kind of the general idea that we're seeing with that. So that's why sometimes it's hard to see some of the snow or other precipitation on the radar. So it might look like it's weakening when sometimes it's not. But I can't confirm there's not much going on in Rhinelander at this point, because I was just out on our weather deck. Over at Minocqua, same general idea, not much going on. So at times when we can't see it on radar, it's nice to have our sky cams, because they can kind of confirm what's going on out there. You can definitely tell traffic's a little slow out there because it's a little bit slippery in a few spots. Give those road crews some time to work. Here we go. Winter weather advisory up for Ashland and Ashland and Iron counties and areas off to the west. For at least another half hour or so, we'll see this drop by about 6 a.m. as we're pretty much down to just snow at this point and a few slippery areas of roads. But moving forward, though, here's the general idea. So temperatures in the 20s to start things off, staying stable, starting to fall by around 5 o'clock or so.
Well, thank you, Devin, for a comprehensive explanation of the weather. I appreciate it. A popular ski trail, though, in the north of Wisconsin, in our border, is now connected to a town's historical society museum. ABR ski trails near Ironwood go around the Irwin Historical Society building. Here's pictures from the ribbon cutting on the historic trail this week at Irwin Heritage Park. It was the official opening of the new cross-country ski and snowshoe trail at ABR that is connected to the Irwin Heritage Park Trail. This was made possible through the cooperation of ABR, Gogebic Range Health Foundation, Anderson Bluffs and River Trail Foundation, and the Irwin Township Historical Society. The Stevens Point Area School District has launched a new program that will accept donations to help cover unpaid school meal balances. According to the district, the number of families who qualify for free or reduced price meals has risen to 38%. At the same time, the district-wide unpaid meal balance has jumped to $13,000. Those who wish to donate can do so at the district's website, pointschools.net. The plan was announced 1 week after a donor paid off all outstanding meal balances at the Pacelli School District, which amounted to about $600. The Merrill Area Public Schools is hosting a fun event for the whole family. Family Fun Day is coming back later this month. There will be free activities including snowshoeing, sledding, and cross-country skiing. They will also have tours of the Animal Museum and the Wisconsin Logging History Museum. There will be free food along with equipment rentals. It will take place on Saturday, January 21st at the MAPS School Forest from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. And coming up, we have some news you can use, including the reveal of the top car seller in the U.S. after a difficult supply chain year. Plus, we'll tell you about the massive market share losses of the tech giant Apple in 2022. Those stories and more consumer news right after this.
Winter is here, which means it's time to get your home ready for anything the season will throw at you. Menards has everything you need to stay productive during the winter. Whether you're trying to keep up with the snow, save on energy, or warm up by the fire, trust the team that's dedicated to service and quality to help you make the most of your winter. Whether it's inside or out, grab this 18-inch snow shovel pusher combo for just $11.99.
Save big money at Menards.
Moon Deer and Friends Gallery in downtown Boulder Junction offers an eclectic mix of contemporary fine art and craft, antiques, professional custom frame service, and many other smaller gift items, featuring the work of gallery owner Sarah Mender, as well as over 150 other regional artists.
I started to see Dr. Drager in September. Back pain, nerve pain, right leg would go numb, foot would go numb. Did some x-rays. He determined that I had some pinched nerves. He could fix it without surgery through a series of impulse and laser treatment.
The reason the lasers work is they go to the root of the problem. They go deep into the tissue to heal the nerves, to help repair them and bring blood supply back to the area.
The nerve pain went away. The tingling went away in my feet. Felt great.
There's a lot of talk about lasers now, but not all lasers are created equally. You need to have the high intense laser to have the true effect.
Get the latest news on the weekends with Newswatch 12. Saturday and Sunday at 10 with your weekend news team. Kyle Pazorski, Mohammed Abdul Kawi, and Conrad Sapinski. Newswatch 12.
All right, welcome back. Let's get things rolling out there this morning. And overall, roads are slippery. There's some snow falling out there, but the flakes are so small that we're not noticing too much at this point. And in some areas, it's probably stopped briefly, but don't let that fool you. There will be more snow on the way soon. Not much traffic out in Minocqua, but where there has been traffic, it has been rather slippery in a few spots at times. But winter weather advisories remain in effect until 6 a.m. Thursday. So later this morning at about 6 o'clock, we'll see the last of these winter weather advisories drop. As things are starting to calm down, any snow that accumulates will be below advisory criteria. Might still get some slippery roads, but the road crews will be able to get out and work on those roadways. But here's the radar right now. It continues to circulate across the area with snow mainly along and south of Wausau and also to the north of us as well in parts of the UP and rotating off towards the south and west. So we have been noticing some snow this morning. And yes, there is that radar gap over us, as we mentioned earlier. But there also isn't much snow falling right now either. Just confirmed that outside, and you saw that with our Minocqua Skycam. Not much taking place at this point there. Let's zoom things out and give you the bigger picture here. So again, we have this flow of clouds right about in here with more action further down toward the south. The center of low pressure not too far away from us at all. It's mainly just further down toward the south here, and it's going to be tracking off towards the east as the day progresses on. We'll hold on to the clouds for a little bit, but eventually we'll get high pressure moving in, and that will keep things nice for us for a few days and even get some of these clouds to get out of here. So sunshine will finally be returning here, so that'll definitely brighten the mood up. But definitely make sure to have those sunglasses handy, too. With that snow on the ground will make it feel brighter than normal. But Futurecast moving forward, We're seeing, of course, the snow that will continue today, rotating around that area of low pressure. By tonight, we start to see that taper off, but holding on to the clouds in general. And maybe a few breaks in the clouds tomorrow, but not as much as originally thought. We're now thinking about holding on to those clouds for most of the afternoon, although we'll get a few breaks from time to time. So, yeah, some sunshine can't be ruled out, but we'll see even more sunshine as we head towards Saturday. How much additional snowfall? Pretty much not a whole lot. About another ½ inch to an inch before we're all finished up. So overall, looking pretty decent out there. Maybe isolated areas up to 2 inches if you're lucky, but most of our accumulating snow is just about done. And maybe some wind gusts up to 15 miles per hour out of the northeast, then switching to the north and west, and starting to back off later on tonight and even at parts of tomorrow. So the wind won't be a huge deal moving forward for the next few days. So as for the temperatures right now, we're in the middle to upper 20s out there, even some lower 30s, so temperatures are not terrible out there. But, of course, want to make sure to keep that in mind, though, with your pets. Some of them can handle the cold, some cannot. Just be careful with that. And the snow, we don't need them getting too cold out there, although these temperatures not terrible, but just always be careful with your pets during these winter months. Upper 20s today, snow showers on the way, ½ inch to an inch possible. The northeast wind getting up to about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Again, later on tonight, 7 degrees, mostly cloudy, a few flurries early. The northwest wind getting up to about 5 miles per hour. Northwoods Furniture and Mattress, 7-day forecast. So starting to dry out Friday, cooling off a bit too. Mostly cloudy, temperatures in the lower 20s. These low temperatures won't be very good for your pets, so make sure they have proper shelter, of course, and food and such. And then, of course, by Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday, we're partly cloudy, temperatures in the upper 20s to lower 30s. Slight chances for snow by Tuesday under a mostly cloudy sky. That'll be courtesy of Lake Effect Snow.
General Motors has recaptured the title of top car seller in the U.S. 1 year after losing the crown to Toyota. Their fourth quarter sales were up more than 40% from a year ago. The increase allowed GM to end the year with sales up nearly 3% from the 2.2 million U.S. vehicles sold in 2021, when it suffered a 13% decline. As for Toyota, the company had its full-year sales fall nearly 10%. to 2.1 million. That's despite posting a 13% increase in the fourth quarter sales. Industry-wide, auto sales were limited over the last 2 years by a shortage of parts, primarily computer chips, needed to build vehicles consumers wanted. Apple has lost $1 trillion in market value in 1 year. On Tuesday, Apple's market cap dropped below $2 trillion in trading for the first time since early 2021. The loss comes 1 year to the day after Apple became the first public tech company valued at $3 trillion. Shares of Apple fell more than 4% after a report raised concerns about consumer demand for its products. Apple recently told suppliers to build fewer parts for some of its most popular devices for the first quarter, including the Apple Watch, AirPods, and MacBooks. Like other tech companies, Apple has struggled with supply chain issues and concerns that recession fears will weigh on advertisers and consumer spending. Amazon plans to lay off more than 18,000 workers. CEO Andy Jassy says several units will be affected, including Amazon stores and its human resources department. Jassy had said in November job cuts would continue into early 2023. Multiple news outlets reported in the fall Amazon had planned to cut around 10,000 employees. Amazon and other tech firms significantly ramped up hiring over the past couple of years as the pandemic shifted consumers towards e-commerce. Now, many of these tech companies are experiencing whiplash and laying off thousands of workers as people return to pre-pandemic habits and economic conditions worsen.
Ordered enough yardage and built a hat. And it's really that simple.
Coming up at 6, Snowy Cromer was welcomed back to Minocqua this year thanks to the plentiful snowfall. Find out a little bit more about his stylish headwear.
Entresto is the #1 heart failure brand prescribed by cardiologists. It was proven superior at helping people stay alive and out of the hospital. Don't take Entresto if pregnant. It can cause harm or death to an unborn baby. And don't take Entresto with an ACE inhibitor or aliskiren, or if you've had angioedema with an ACE or ARB. The most serious side effects are angioedema, low blood pressure, kidney problems, or high blood potassium. Ask your doctor about Entresto.
Stay tuned to get a free pan from Granite Stone. Stuck on eggs, burnt on batter. You can scrub and scrape, but you can't escape the nightmare of your sticky pans. Introducing the Granite Stone Pan, the all-new durable non-stick pan. No butter or oil needed. Watch, we melted down these sticky candies in Granite Stone, and it just doesn't stick. We cooked a half a dozen eggs, bacon, cheese, and tomato breakfast with no butter or oil, and it just doesn't stick. Look, caramels, chocolate, and cheese. Unreal for any other pan, but not for Granite Stone. It just doesn't stick. Granite Stone will be the last pan you'll ever need because it's pressed from a solid aluminum disc for even heat conduction. Then coated 3 times with our durable Granite Stone finish. Granite Stone is metal utensil safe and won't scratch. And talk about non-stick. This salmon cooks skin side down with no added butter or oil, just doesn't stick. This steak is perfectly seared, just like the pros. And because Granite Stone is oven rated to 500 degrees, we bake this upside down pan pizza to perfection, and it just doesn't stick. Fire Flambe Delicious Cherries Jubilee. Plus, it's PFOA free and 100% dishwasher safe. Call or go online to get your Granite Stone pan for the special TV discount price of just $19.99. Granite Stone is so durable it comes with a 10-year warranty. And with every order, you're going to get a Granite Stone single-serve egg pan absolutely free. It's the perfect size for personalized eggs, omelets, or frittatas that slide right out. It makes the best bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich quick. Yours absolutely free. We'll even ship your entire order free. That's right, free shipping. You get it all at incredible value. Here's how to order.
To order, call 1-800-898-6703. That's 1-800-898-6703 or order online at buygranitestone.com. That's 1-800-898-6703. Call now.
And welcome back. You may or may not enjoy traveling by bus, but we have the story of a bus that you'll probably love because it's not for people, it's for pups. Jeannie Moose reports on the doggy bus.
Good morning, Bama.
It definitely isn't a Greyhound bus, but there are hounds in it.
Good morning, Jake.
Nothing but dogs jumping into their assigned seats, attached to leashes rather than seat belts, picking up waiting passengers with wagging tails.
Good morning, Amaru. Would you like a complimentary liver with your bus ride?
Nobody said no.
Jake. Dasher. Gumbo.
This bus is better than an airline.
Excuse you, you already had yours.
The doggy bus
Load up.
is operated by Mo Mountain Mutts in tiny Skagway, Alaska. It's a husband and wife team offering dog training and dog walking. Do the dogs know their own seat?
Most of them do. The new puppies don't. They'll try to just jump in any seat available until we shuffle them back into the licky puppy corner.
The licky puppy corner? They're practically necking in the back of the bus as they ride to outings.
Yarrow, notice are tangled.
The bus offers the potential for entanglements, but when we watch them disembark...
Jake, Amaru, Odie, go ahead.
They were better behaved than a busload of kids.
I can't tell you how many of these dogs were monsters before I started working with them.
That's Mo Thompson's own little monster chiming in. Oh, sure, some of the passengers are rule breakers.
Excuse me, ma'am, your tail is in the aisle. Ma'am, you're gonna have to adjust your butt.
But there's one seat that's off limits.
Who's honking the horn? Bama!
Bama's ready to trade her dog license for a driver's license.
Excuse me, ma'am, you're not driving. Get out of my seat.
Hello, everyone.
My goodness, that's an adorable bus. So many dogs just hanging out on there. That's fantastic. I know Devin Biggs is out on our weather deck now. Devin, would you like to take a ride on that bus to get to work?
That would definitely be one way to get spoiled going into work, right? That's definitely really cool to see that bus. But for those taking a bus to school this morning, definitely a little bit slippery out there as many of the schools are back in session this week. We have a little bit of snow still falling out here. Roads are a little bit slippery in a few spots. Road crews are busy doing what they need to do to keep those roads in halfway decent shape. But here we go. So on top of what we saw in Minocqua, it's kind of stating the obvious with this map. A lot of slippery stretches and some snow and ice covered roads being reported across the area this morning. Radar and satellite showing the snow that's rotating across the area. And even though there's nothing showing up in Rhinelander, there's very tiny flakes that are falling. Sometimes it's hard for the radar to pick this stuff up, especially when it's this small. But otherwise, though, here's a travel forecast moving forward for today. We'll keep that snow going today, starting to back off later on tonight. Temperatures today in the upper 20s to maybe lower 30s. For us, though, we'll be in the upper 20s with snow showers on the way. Maybe another ½ inch to an inch can't be ruled out there. While farther down toward the south, we'll see a little bit of snow and temperatures in the 30s. A little more coming up after the break.
For the most up-to-the-minute info on your school closings, visit WJFW.com on your computer, your tablet, or your phone. WJFW School Closings, sponsored by Builder Service Incorporated, Menke Buick GMC Mazda, and People's State Bank.
Carpet City. Uh-oh. Did your holiday hosting create a couple extra stains in your carpet? Or do you just need an update for your old flooring? Come to Carpet City Flooring Center and start your year off right with free carpet installation. That's right, free carpet installation. If money is a little tight, Carpet City Flooring Center can help make your project affordable with interest-free financing. Get your free carpet installation today.
Carpet City. Our prices will floor you.
In life, there are things that suck, but we do them anyway. Family meals with your wife's crazy Uncle Eddie suck, but we do it anyway. Because the memories that we make with family are everything. Family photo sessions with matching outfits suck, but we do it anyway. Because finding those photos years from now will make you laugh and cry. And you know what else really sucks? Getting screened for cancer, but not as much as letting things go undetected or untreated. So do it anyway. Screening can save your life from cancer, or even help prevent certain types of cancer, which will give you even more years of doing things that don't suck. For more information, visit GetScreenedForCancer.org today.
Mammogram, colonoscopy, pap test. You need to go screen for cancer.
Discover what's trending in the North Woods on Up North at 4 with Nate Myhawk and Jeff Weller. Local conversations about what it means to live, work, and play up north. Weekdays at 4. News Watch 12 today with Michael Lodeholtz and Devin Biggs.
Welcome back. A professional racing company based in North Carolina has already experienced sparks to the new year after lightning struck a fence at its facility. JR Motorsports released footage of lightning that was captured. Check that out right there at the company's 66,000 square foot Mooresville location on Wednesday, and video was taken from 2 different angles. And after the lightning hit the fence, a cloud of smoke could be seen coming from the area. This video is impressive, right? And JR Motorsports is a professional racing company, or a racing team, excuse me, co-owned by NASCAR Hall of Fame members Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Rick Hendricks. So that video is very impressive to just look at. When you get that up close with lighting, I'm glad it was a security camera and not was right there.
It kind of gets me thinking of like Back to the Future when they're driving Doc and Marty down the road and then they get struck by lightning and phew, right.
Well, yeah, because I guess there wasn't enough power in the vehicle to travel through time, so they needed lightning.
Exactly. They need a little bit of that help. I don't think it exactly helped JR Motorsports, but...
Well, hopefully... I mean, hopefully the electric current stayed with that fence, but not traveled anything else that could cause damage.
Exactly. You know, hopefully it appeared that everything was all right, and they had a, you know, no one was injured by this lightning strike.
Probably melted that fence, I'm sure.
Yeah, they might have to put up a new fence, which is, you know, not so bad from an exciting story like that.
Yeah, I'm sure that boom was very loud too, and I'm sure. I'm sure there were probably a few choice words that were said too.
But another exciting thing besides just the lightning strike hitting some fences. I think our weather forecast in the area is going to be
It's been very interesting. So how was... Excuse me. Yeah, it hasn't been too bad, though. I mean, of course, we had the lightning there, but here we have snow that's continuing to move in, and it's rotating around the area, low pressure, as it's kind of just to our south right now, so we're continuing to see that snow. Let's get into your 3-day real quick, though. So the snow does continue to fall with a few breaks in a few areas. We'll keep that going today. Then by tonight, the snow starts to wrap up. we'll hold on to the clouds Friday, but grab those sunglasses. I do believe we'll get a few breaks in those clouds Friday. And then partly cloudy by Saturday. Temperatures in the upper 20s then, upper 20s today, and the lower 20s coming up. So, yeah, definitely not too bad, though, with the way things are looking. But we do have more news and weather coming up after the break.
It starts as a kitchen built for right now and grows with you as life changes. Clearview Cabinetry is flexible by design, so you can go from doors to drawers for storage that works at every stage. And the style is so easy to update, you can do it in a snap, meaning you don't have to remodel your space to make it work even better. Because it's not just a kitchen, it's the center of your universe. Clearview Cabinetry, available exclusively at Menards.
Stay tuned to get a free pan from Granite Stone. Stuck on eggs, burnt on batter. You can scrub and scrape, but you can't escape the nightmare of your sticky pans. Introducing the Granite Stone Pan, the all-new durable non-stick pan. No butter or oil needed. Watch, we melted down these sticky candies in Granite Stone, and it just doesn't stick. We cooked a half a dozen eggs, bacon, cheese, and tomato breakfast with no butter or oil, and it just doesn't stick. Look, caramels, chocolate, and cheese. Unreal for any other pan, but not for Granite Stone. It just doesn't stick. Granite Stone will be the last pan you'll ever need because it's pressed from a solid aluminum disc for even heat conduction. Then coated 3 times with our durable Granite Stone finish. Granite Stone is metal utensil safe and won't scratch. And talk about non-stick. This salmon cooked skin side down with no added butter or oil just doesn't stick. This steak is perfectly seared just like the pros. And because Granite Stone is oven rated to 500 degrees, we bake this upside down pan pizza to perfection, and it just doesn't stick. Fire Flambe Delicious Cherries Jubilee. Plus it's PFOA free and 100% dishwasher safe. Call or go online to get your Granite Stone pan for the special TV discount price of just $19.99. Granite Stone is so durable it comes with a 10-year warranty. And with every order, you're going to get a Granite Stone single-serve egg pan absolutely free. It's the perfect size for personalized eggs, omelets, or frittatas that slide right out. It makes the best bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich quick. Yours absolutely free. We'll even ship your entire order free. That's right, free shipping. You get it all, an incredible value. Here's how to order.
To order, call 1-800-898-6703. That's 1-800-898-6703 or order online at buygranitestone.com. That's 1-800-898-6703. Call now.
Right now on Newswatch 12 today, we'll tell you where to go to discuss the upcoming changes to the wolf management of Wisconsin. Plus,
and some snow showers developing out there this morning, and we're going to keep that going for most of the day. Your full forecast is coming up.
And find out how 2 Eagle River accidents are spurring emergency services to issue caution on winter roads. It's Thursday, January 5th.
Newswatch 12 today with Michael Lodeholtz and Devin Biggs.
Good morning. Thanks for waking up with us today. I'm Michael Lodeholtz. Jackie is off on personal leave. But some trends don't fade, but others just seem to last and last and last. Minocqua's famous snowman, Snowy Cromer, falls into the second category. But Snowy wouldn't be complete without his Stormy Cromer hat. Snowy has donned this signature red hat since 2010. But after this winter, the 40-foot snowman is getting a fresh new look. Nick Van Zyl has more.
Snowy has donned his signature red hat since 2010. After this winter, the 40-foot tall snowman will get a new hat. Bob Jockhart, Stormy Cromer chairman, recalls an evening out with his wife in 2010 when he was approached about making a hat for Minocqua's famous snowman.
And they thought, wouldn't it be cool to make a Stormy Cromer hat for their snowman?
Bob got to work designing the hat. Snowmy's head is 8 foot in diameter, which works out to be a size 96 hat. Bob knew he needed to make the hat out of something more weather-resistant than the wool they typically use. So drawing on his experience making canvas boat covers, he chose a heavy-duty canvas.
Ordered enough yardage and built a hat. And it's really that simple. The pieces fit together. Our software makes it so that you can put the pieces together. So I was just doing a regular hat in just a larger scale.
And that's what he ended up with. a hat 140 times larger than an average Stormy Kromer hat. With 1 yard of fabric, the factory can make 7 Stormy Kromer hats, but Snowme's hat took 20 yards of canvas. He completed the project in just 1 day, but he still isn't satisfied.
I'd really like to make some improvements on it, so I'm planning in my head Model B, and I will be contacting the chamber.
With the new challenge on his mind, Bob's excited to make improvements to the hat's brim and crown. You can see Snowme outside of the Let's Minocqua Visitors Center located on Highway 51 south of Minocqua. Reporting from across the Northwoods, I'm Nick Van Zyl, Newswatch 12.
Such a happy snowman to welcome people up into the Northwoods. And the hat, I mean, it's iconic Wisconsin and Midwest. And it's nice that we made it up to Ironwood to see the process of getting it made. And Devin, do you have any of those hats lying around your closet you want to just lend out to the newsroom?
Well, I don't have one that size, but I do have a Stormy Kromer hat courtesy of the Hodag store that I've worn around a few times.
There we go.
So I do own a Stormy Kromer. I know some people across the Northwoods do as well. It's kind of a classic hat with a cool story behind it as well. But meanwhile, let's get things going out here. For those thinking about wearing their Stormy Kromers this morning, you might need it because it's a little cool out there. Roadways are covered in snow. Some areas are good, some areas not so much. It was slippery for me coming into work, but other areas starting to improve a bit now. But here we go. The last of the winter weather advisories are starting to get dropped, though. Our map is starting to update. It looks like they did extend the winter weather advisory for parts of Ashley and Iron counties, and this will last until about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, as that snow will continue to fall with a little bit of lake enhanced snow expected as well. So the roads might get a little bit tricky in a few spots. So here we go. The snow along and south of Wausau, with another band further off towards the north. That's why they extended these winter weather advisories here. For us, tiny flakes falling out there in general. Overall, for us, the accumulating snow is backed off, at least for now. Temperatures right now in the middle to upper 20s, some lower 30s across the viewing area. These temperatures will start to fall throughout the day eventually, and will fall into the single digits later on tonight. So really cooling off in a hurry. But yeah, 25 degrees by 6 p.m.
Thank you, Devin. We'll be on the lookout for those tiny flakes coming down around the Northwoods. But Wisconsin wildlife officials are giving people more time to comment on their new wolf management plan. The State Department of Natural Resources released their first new wolf plan in almost 25 years back in November. The plan doesn't include a specific statewide population goal, recommending instead monitoring local populations. DNR officials initially planned to take comments for 60 days until January 10th. The agency has now extended the deadline to midnight on February 28th. Agency officials say they'll consider all feedback as they make revisions before submitting the plan to the Natural Resources Board for approval. And the messy weather has led to some car accidents across the Northwoods. That includes 2 in Eagle River with a similar theme. According to the Eagle River Fire Department, the last 2 vehicle accidents they responded to were rollovers. They both happened after drivers attempted to pass another car on slippery roads. The department encourages drivers to take caution on the roadways. And it's 6:01 a.m., so up next on Newswatch 12 today, we'll be joined by Lauren Sackett of the Rhinelander Chamber of Commerce. Learn about the upcoming Chamber Gala as we discuss who can enter for awards and what to look forward to for the big night. Stay with us. We're back in 2 minutes.
This week,
Happy New Year to all.
Super champion Ray Lalonde is on a streak into 2023 with 12 wins.
Ray Lalonde survives yet another scare.
And over $350,000.
Let's do a true daily double.
All of it at stake.
Now, can he put together another streak week?
Everybody's off to a great start.
Next Jeopardy!
Jeopardy! Weekdays at 4:30 on NBC 12.
Wausau Hearns Furniture has all kinds of recliners. Power or manual recliners, rocker or wall saver recliners. Bring a truck, all in stock now. Check out Hearns Furniture's huge selection of recliners. Half mile from Fleet Farm, Wausau.
Benny's Appliance Service, serving Rhinelander, Eagle River, Minocqua, and surrounding area. 35 years of experience, prompt professional service on all brands, emergency service available.
We protect your house.
We're gonna do it!
And your car.
We need to keep our energy up. I want to take me to Funky Town.
because we know they're the launching pad to their dreams. And now you can save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote or find an agent at amfam.com.
Get the latest news on the weekends with Newswatch 12. Saturday and Sunday at 10 with your weekend news team. Kyle Pazorski, Mohammed Abdul Kawi, and Conrad Sapinski. Newswatch 12. Weather Watch 12 with Devin Biggs, 5 to 7 a.m.
Wasserhorn's Furniture has all kinds of recliners. Power or manual recliners, rocker or wall saver recliners. Bring a truck, all in stock now. Check out Harns Furniture's huge selection of recliners. Half mile from Fleet Farm, Wausau.
Welcome back. Let's get things rolling here this morning. And overall in Rhinelander, the roads are pretty slippery out there. I just saw a plow go through right off air before we came on. So they're working on the roadways this morning, putting some salt out there as well. So just give the crews some space and just allow extra time to get to your destinations this morning. The last of the winter weather advisories have almost been dropped, I should say. We do have this extended until 3 p.m. later this afternoon because of snow that does continue to fall in those areas. And we're still seeing some snow as well. Here it is right here along the south of the Wausau area. And also further off towards the north, here's another band right here. And while there isn't much showing up on the radar here, there's some tiny flakes that do continue to fall. In our neck of the woods, it's kind of hard for the radar to see that at times, but the snow is falling across the viewing area. It might pick up from time to time as the day progresses on. Let's zoom things out. So here's this flow of moisture right here, pretty much from the east going toward the west and a little bit of the south and west too, with that snow further down toward the south and even some more in the parts of Illinois. The back area of low pressure located right about in here, tracking off towards the east. So give it today and a little bit into tonight that things will finally begin to calm down. And we'll start seeing a little bit of sunshine mixing in with the clouds as we head towards tomorrow, as we start to get high pressure moving in from the west going toward the east. So here's Futurecast. We're going to hold on to the snow chances pretty much all day long today. We'll see more picking up during the afternoon period. Then by later on Saturday, that starts to back off, but we'll hold on to the clouds in general through Friday morning. But some breaks in those clouds will be expected as we head through Friday afternoon and maybe a little bit more Friday night and Saturday morning. But eventually all these clouds will get out of here and we'll see a good amount of sunshine as we head towards the day on Saturday. Maybe a few passing clouds at best. So as for the snow, ½ inch to an inch cannot be ruled out before we're all finished up. Maybe some localized higher amounts further off towards the north. This is on top of what's already fallen. So a little bit more snow on the way before we're just about done. And of course, a little bit of wind out there too, but nothing too ridiculous. Maybe a few gusts out of the northeast at around 15 miles per hour today. Switching to the north and west later on tonight, up to around 10 miles per hour for gusts. At best, sustained winds will be a little bit calmer. And even by tomorrow, the wind won't be a huge deal. So the wind won't be anything to get too worried about moving forward for the next day or so. So as those temperatures, they're really not too bad. We're in the middle 20s right now, even some upper 20s in Lincoln County, lower 30s in parts of Marathon County, and even in the parts of Portage and Wood counties as well. So, of course, cooler up once you get into parts of Vilas County. We'll see these temperatures really cooling off later on tonight. So as for today, it looks like this. Upper 20s on the way. Snow showers, ½ inch to an inch will be the general idea. The northeast wind getting up to about 5 to 10 miles per hour. As for tonight, 7 degrees, most cloudy. Some flurries early before it tapers off. The northwest breeze getting up to about 5 miles per hour. That Northwoods Furniture and Mattress 7-day forecast. So we really enter our dry stretch starting Friday, pretty much lasting through next week as well. Even becoming partly cloudy Saturday, Sunday, and even into Monday. More clouds moving by Tuesday, mostly cloudy. Slight chance for snow. That's mainly lake effect chances. Then Wednesday, mostly cloudy. Highs also in the mid-20s. Michael?
Thank you, Devin. Well, Rhinelander's seen quite a few changes over the last year, and it takes a lot to move forward for a city. There's a lot of businesses, organizations, and people in the community come together. And one of them is Lauren Sackett with the Rhinelander Chamber of Commerce. Thanks for coming on the show this morning, Lauren.
Thanks for having me. It's great to talk.
Yes, and we're here to talk about kind of the Chamber recognizing a lot of the hard work that goes into the community.
Yeah. Coming up later in January, January 26th, we are hosting our annual awards gala and fundraiser event. And it's really a time that we take to recognize the businesses throughout the community, the people throughout the community that do amazing things throughout the year. We're really excited. Right now, we're in the process of announcing all of the nominees, or I guess you could say the finalists for the awards. All
right. So what sort of categories are we looking at here?
So we do a small business and business excellence awards. a community service award, which is for a local nonprofit. We do a community enhancement award, you know, recognizing somebody or a business that spent a lot of time trying to enhance the community in some way. Entrepreneurial achievement, that's for a newer business that's under 5 years, recognizing like a startup. I know I'm missing one. Oh my gosh, what is it? But there's also Community Volunteer of the Year and the Spirit of the Hodag Award.
Oh, Spirit of a Hodag Award.
It's really fun. You know, that one is dedicated to somebody that's spent a lot of time, you know, making sure the culture of Rhinelander and the history and the Hodag has been kind of taken care of throughout the year. So it's a really fun award to give away.
That's going to be a really special one, especially this year with winning the National Mascot of the Year.
Yep. And then on top of that, we do the Top 10 Under 40 Awards. So we're trying to recognize young professionals within the area. We collected nominations basically the month of November, December. And we're going to be naming those nominees as well, and we narrow our list down to 10 and share that as well at the event.
Yes, I remember some of us Newswatch 12ers were there last year, and it was a fantastic event. It was at the Pines Event Center.
Yep, we'll be there again.
Right off of K, isn't it? Or was it 47?
47.
Right off of Highway 47 between Rhinelander and Minocqua. That was a fantastic venue, lots of good snacks and foods and people, and the events was fantastic. I know some people even dressed up in tuxedos, which was
we kind of
humorous.
We wanted to do something where a little bit more formal. You know, these businesses and these people are worthy of celebrating, and so we kind of went for a formal vibe, and we're doing that again, and we'll have heavy appetizers, a program, photos, raffles, silent auctions, all that kind of stuff. So
absolutely, and it's going to be an exciting time, and it's a moment to celebrate. And looking back at the year, how did 2022 kind of shape up for you over at the Chamber?
You know, it was a great year. We had a lot of exciting projects that happened. We've been working on community-wide rebranding.
Okay.
And so we kind of have done some rebranding on the tourism side of things, how we're projecting our image to tourists. But that's going to be pulled through this year with the Chamber and other entities. One of the goals that I was so shocked about this, so excited about, is that we did $75,000 in Chamber Buck sales last year.
Oh, wow.
That's all money that's staying local. You can only spend those Chamber Bucks at local businesses, and that is more than we've sold in the 8 years that I've been at the Chamber. So I was really excited about that.
Well, there we go. That's a great step in the right direction.
Yes, it was great.
Well, congratulations on getting that program out there. That's fantastic. And 2023, after the gala, what can we look forward to, kind of a sneak peek into the year?
Sure. We're launching an all-new event in March, the Up North Community Expo. I know Rachel's been on a couple of the other shows to talk about it. But that's a brand new event, March 2nd, that we're unveiling. And it's really, again, a collaboration. We're inviting multiple counties, multiple chambers to be a part of this event.
So where's this going to be at, then?
At the Hodag Dome.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
So a big thing.
Big thing, but big expo style, inviting all businesses in a multi-county region. All of that information, as well as gala information, how you can get tickets, how you can get signed up for the expo, or learn more about Chamber Bucks, is all on our website, RhinelanderChamber.com.
Well, fantastic. Well, yes, for anyone interested, RhinelanderChamber.com. It's a fantastic organization. And thanks again for coming on this morning and telling us all about it. Thursday, the 26th, it's the gala. Come on out. It's a great time. We look forward to seeing you there. But coming up, we have some more What's Trending, and that's including the details for a heroic rescue of a dog from the chilly waters of Michigan. Plus, see how one lawmaker is pulling double daddy duty during his historic vote for Speaker. Those stories up next in What's Trending.
For a new countertop, make your selection at Creative Granite's Indoor Warehouse of Minocqua. From 50 colors of granite and quartz. Work with a crew that will stay with you from measuring and fabrication to final installation. Call or stop by Creative Granite today.
Tobacco can end lives long before it kills you. Quit today so you have a tomorrow.
Call the Wisconsin Tobacco Quit line at 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
Woodruff Appliance and TV is a family-owned discount appliances, furniture, mattresses, and electronics store. Find top models of GE brands at the best prices around. Woodruff Appliance and TV, 2 convenient locations in Woodruff and Tomahawk since 1939.
It's a fact. Problems with your basement don't get better with time. They get better with SureDry. SureDry has been fixing wet basements, foundation, and concrete issues for over 25 years. There are plenty of people who can promise you a solution, but SureDry delivers. You have a home and a family to protect, and our experts will provide a permanent solution that gives you the confidence you need to sleep at night. Schedule your free estimate today.
Look! It's easy to say things. Anyone can do that.
Look closer.
Meaning what you say, that's a little harder. And a little harder to find. But at U.S. Cellular, when we say you get unlimited data for $29.99 per line, we don't mean only if you get 4 lines. We mean $29.99 per line, even 1. Plus, every plan is price protected for every customer.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call Low Cost Airlines. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call now.
This portion of Newswatch 12 is brought to you by Eagle Floor Covering on Twilight Lane, Eagle River.
And welcome back to the morning show right here. We are 6:15 a.m. and it's Devin and me on the couch today. Jackie's off in Washington. We wish her the best to her and her mom and her family. And we're going to move right into our first story, Devin. The U.S. Coast Guard is in Detroit and came across an unexpected surprise during a routine patrol of the Detroit River. The crew was checking the ice conditions on New Year's Eve when they spotted a dog struggling to swim in the icy water. The Detroit Free Press reports one of the crew members donned a dry suit and crawled out onto the ice to save the animal. The crew member was able to reach the dog, tether her, then pull her to safety. The pup is now with the Detroit Animal Care and Control. If no one claims her as their pet, one of the crew says he wants to adopt her.
Oh, so nice to know that dog will be in good shape regardless of
absolutely
where that doggy ends up. Hopefully they're able to locate that owner. And now I'm kind of wondering how did the dog get out?
Yeah, and also why would the dog? I mean, just why the ice? I mean, maybe the dog thought the ice was thick enough. Perhaps.
Probably. And plus sometimes. Yeah, I mean, it's just a matter they just don't know better sometimes. I mean, it's kind of like deer walking out on the lakes up here, although, to be honest, those lakes can support a lot of things at this point.
Exactly. You never know really what goes through those animals' heads. I know my parents' dog, Benjamin, he likes to wander out onto the ice any time of year that there is ice. He'll be on the shoreline getting out there, and you can see the water open in the middle, and we're like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
what are you doing, Benjamin? Come on.
I mean, I question now with people that ice fish on Lake Superior, too, and to get one of those sheets of ice that just breaks up, and then next thing you know, it's moving across the lake.
See, I could imagine you doing that, maybe like on one of these, like Boom Lake. You get a nice ice platform, and you have your microphone, and you're just like, all right, the ice is pretty thick today, and you're floating down the river. That'd be a great live hit, Devin. We'd love to send you out there for that.
Yeah. Might need some rescue crews ready to go for that, too.
We'll make sure we have someone ready.
Yeah, sounds good. But Spencer, the golden retriever, to keep a dog theme going,
there we go.
Known for his support during the Boston Marathon, was honored today, or the other day, I should say, with a giant portrait. The portrait, which was painted by Pittsburgh artist Tom Moser, was unveiled ahead of the Boston Marathon due to Spencer's latest cancer diagnosis. Spencer's owner, Rich Powers, says the 13-year-old dog is facing a third bout of cancer and possibly nearing his own finish line. Spencer became a regular fixture at the Boston Marathon for holding up Boston's strong flag near Ashland State Park for 9 years. This custom art piece took just over a month for time to complete. It will hang in the home of Spencer's owners, and they hope to display it publicly leading up to April's marathon. So how about that? It's tough for the dog, though. Cancer, I mean, as dogs get older and cats get older, unfortunately, this stuff does happen a little bit, but it's cool to see things like that taking place.
Absolutely, and that's such a cute golden retriever, like such a good boy. And he was holding his flag in his mouth for 9 years at the marathon.
9 years.
9 years. That's going to be a great dog. Hopefully he beats this third round of cancer and he can stay out there a long time. And if not, his portrait, always remember.
Yep, you got the portrait to remember that doggy by his son. They'll find a way to honor that doggy if cancer kind of gets him.
Absolutely. There's a reason, you know, dogs are man's best friend, Devin.
For sure, right?
When's the next time you're going to get a dog, Devin?
I don't know. I got scheduling is kind of tricky at first. I mean, and plus, I help out Jeff with Theo a lot of times, so
that's like dog adjacent. Then.
So I'm kind of Uncle Devin when it comes to Theo.
Well, that's sweet. At least you got a good friend there.
For sure.
But all right, so moving right along, not quite a dog, but a baby on Capitol Hill. Thankfully, he's not making any decisions just yet. This little guy is the son of California Congressman Jimmy Gomez. With the House Speaker race dragging on, Gomez is navigating his job in Washington along with daddy duty, bringing his 4-month-old son to Hodge. His 4-month-old son, his name is Hodge, to work on Wednesday. Gomez brought his family to Washington to watch him be sworn into Congress for a 4th term. But that ceremony is on hold until a House Speaker can be chosen.
Aw, that's something kind of a tough break. You only plan for so much, and I'm sure they had some plans in place. And sometimes you got to do what you got to do, right? They care for the little ones.
Exactly. You know, just because, you know, they can't pick a Speaker of the House, which, you know, is a big deal for the nation.
It is a big deal.
Still, at the end of the day, he's dad.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Ultimately, yeah. I mean, you have your work duty, but at the same time, no. I mean, your family, you got to find a way to kind of make that work. So daddy duty, thankfully, is working out. And hopefully they pick out a Speaker. Or what is it? First time in 100 years it's dragged on like this? Something like that?
It's been a long time, yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully they figure it out and cool off, for lack of a better term, no?
Hey, that's going to be some really cool baby photos, though. Like,
sure.
I mean, looking back, he's going to be like, you know, where's the neatest place, you know, you ever got to go in with your dad to work? He's like, well, you know, got to go in for a vote for Speaker of the House when I was 4 months old.
Yeah, so there you go. Yeah, you can't. Not every baby can say that. So
exactly, not every baby.
No, but every baby can see the 3-day forecast, although they may not be able to understand it. But
they might not. But you can try to help them.
Yeah, we can try to help them out. Here's that 3-day right now. We have snow chances on the way today, maybe another ½ inch to an inch. The drying out Friday and Saturday. A little more coming up after the break.
Get up to 80% off list prices during our huge inventory reduction sale at Slumberland Furniture. $20 million worth of furniture and mattresses must go. Lowest prices around on recliners, sofas, mattresses, and lots more. Slumberland Furniture.
Welcome to Patchouli Garden in Park Falls. We love authentic Indonesian patchouli, and we specialize in our original custom blends. Everything with the Patchouli Garden name on it we make right here in our store. Visit Patchouli Garden in the store or online.
We sell anything Freedom, firearms, ammunition, parts, and accessories. We specialize in custom-built rifles and fully equipped setup hunting rifles. Our focus is on you and delivering one-of-a-kind products. Embrace your freedom at Northwoods Firearms in Crandon.
You can get any phone you want.
Any one I want?
Any phone you want.
Connection is the greatest gift of all. At U.S. Cellular, we're offering any phone free for new and current customers.
I've never been healthier.
Shingles doesn't care, but Shingrix protects. Proven over 90% effective, Shingrix is a vaccine used to prevent shingles in adults 50 years and older. Shingrix does not protect everyone and is not for those with severe allergic reactions to its ingredients or to a previous dose. An increased risk of Guillain-Barré syndrome was observed after getting Shingrix. Fainting can also happen. The most common side effects are pain, redness and swelling at the injection site, muscle pain, tiredness, headache, shivering, fever, and upset stomach. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Shingrix today.
Up to 80% off list prices during our huge inventory reduction sale at Slumberland Furniture. $20 million worth of merchandise must go. Lowest prices around on mattresses, rugs, bar stools, sectionals, accent chairs, and more at Slumberland Furniture.
And welcome back to Newswatch 12 today. A popular attraction in Eagle River is sadly not returning this year. Our apologies. The Eagle River Chamber of Commerce announced last night that the Ice Castle will not return. They say ice conditions are not suitable for building the castle. They are hoping to have better luck for building it in 2024. So let's all keep our fingers crossed on that one. Yeah, that's an unfortunate thing. I mean, I went to the Eagle River Ice Castle, thankfully, last year when they had it, and it was a delightful time. Devin Biggs is in our own kind of ice castle, the Weather Deck. Devin, have you been up to the Eagle River Ice Castle at all?
Yeah, I checked it out last year. It's very beautiful to see. It's amazing to see how thick those blocks of ice are. And
they are impressive.
Yeah, it looked really good for a bit. It looked like we were going to be able to get the ice castle going because we had that cold spell. And then it warmed up, and then the ice kind of got a little uncertain with the conditions in some areas. And now we have the snow, so kind of a tough break. Although people are able to ice fish, a lot of lakes have a foot of ice on it and some slush. So just be smart when you're heading out and about in that direction. But right later this morning, the roads are still a little slippery in a few spots. Road crews are working on it. It sounds like traffic is moving along pretty good. It's down the hill here. So overall, it should be pretty good. Slippery conditions still being reported across the state for that matter. And a few snow or ice covered roads also being reported by 511 Wisconsin. Radar and satellite, this is what we're seeing at this point. We're still seeing some snow in our neck of the woods with the center low pressure further down to the south. We'll keep the snow chances going today. There's still a little bit of snow falling, but it's those very teeny tiny flakes. You may not even be able to see it on the camera, but they are falling out there. But here's your travel forecast moving forward for today. Upper 20s to lower 30s snow showers in the western ends of the state. We'll keep that going for us as well with temperatures in the upper 20s. We'll see them cooling off later this afternoon and in the evening time frame, while further down toward the south, some 30s on the way and a few snow showers. A little more coming up after the break.
Are you ready for something new? At Cost Cutters, we'll give you a look that will have you listening to lots of compliments. Buy products you love this month at Cost Cutters during our buy one, get one half off sale on all Leader professional products.
Northland Basement Systems is the all things basementy company. Basement waterproofing, basement finishing, basement structural repair, humidity and mold control, and nasty crawl spaces too. When it comes to basement solutions, nobody does it better than we do. Since 1991, homeowners just like you in the Northland have trusted Northland Basement Systems for all things basementy in their homes. Call Northland Basement Systems today to schedule a free home evaluation.
Oh, what a good time we will have. Once again, good days will come. The question you can make it happen,
Voltaren, the joy of movement.
Bam! My accident? My accident happened in a second.
My settlement? That's taking a really long time.
If you've been injured in an accident and need money now while your case settles, call Oasis today.
Better days start today. Get the cash you need with Oasis.
There's no risk. If you lose your case, you don't have to pay Oasis back, ever. Applying for Oasis Express Cash is easy and takes 3 minutes. We'll work with your attorney, and if you're approved, get you $500,000 to $100,000 in as little as 24 hours. Use it for bills, rent, whatever you need help with. So call now or go online to apply. Remember, there's no risk to you.
Better days.
Better days.
Better days start today.
Oasis Financial, because life moves faster than your case.
Call now. Once approved, get your money in as little as 24 hours. 1-800-745-9991.
Love your career. Cost Cutters will support you in achieving your career goals. With competitive wages, great benefits, and up to a $2,250 sign-on bonus. Stop in or visit costcutters.com to find your nearest location.
Hey, CoverGirls. Let's be simply ageless with America's #1 anti-aging foundation and the Triple Action Concealer to conceal, depuff, and care. And try Simply Ageless Lash Plumping Mascara. Simply Ageless from CoverGirl.
Bruce Orthodontics, changing lives one smile at a time. Rhinelander, Minocqua, Eagle River, Phillips, and the greater Northwoods area. Treating patients of all ages.
Your home, where life happens. Family and friends gather. Memories are created. Locally family-owned business serving Rhinelander, Eagle River, and surrounding areas. Come into one of our stores located in Eagle River or Rhinelander and work closely with one of our creative kitchen designers on creating your dream kitchen.
Eagle River Cabinets, building relationships, a cabinet at a time.
Stuck on eggs, burnt on batter. You can't escape the nightmare of your sticky pans. Introducing the Granite Stone Pan, the all-new durable non-stick pan. No butter or oil needed. Watch, we melted down these sticky candies in Granite Stone, and it just doesn't stick. We cooked a half a dozen eggs, bacon, cheese, and tomato breakfast with no butter or oil, and it just doesn't stick. Fire flambe or perfectly sear filet, just like the pros. Plus, it's PFOA-free and 100% dishwasher safe. Call or go online to get your Granite Stone Pan for just $19.99. Granite Stone is so durable it comes with a 10-year warranty. And with every order, you're going to get a Granite Stone single-serve egg pan absolutely free. We'll even ship your entire order free. You get it all. An incredible value.
To order, call 1-800-898-6703. That's 1-800-898-6703 or order online at buygranitestone.com.
Noon News Now with Kevin Kraft and Jeff Weller. Weekdays on Newswatch 12.
Oh, that spin class was brutal. Well, you can try using the Buick's massaging seat. Ooh, yeah, that's nice.
Can I use Apple CarPlay to put some music on?
Sure, it's wireless.
What's your Buick's Wi-Fi password?
It's Buick Envision. That's a really tight spot. I used to hate parallel parking.
Me too. The Buick Envision, built around you, all of you.
Get 3.9% APR and no monthly payments for 90 days on Buick SUV models.
Are your floors looking worn and outdated? Stop by Eagle Floor Covering in Eagle River for all your flooring needs.
Our large selection of carpet, hardwood, laminate, vinyl, tile, and area rugs.
We have a knowledgeable staff, competitive pricing, and free estimates. Locally owned and operated for over 2 decades.
Come in and let over 40 years of combined sales and service experience help you select the right floor for your lifestyle and budget.
Eagle Floor Covering on Twilight Lane off Highway 70 West, across from Eagle River Cabinets.
Consumer Cellular has the best customer service.
They care about the customer.
The best price with the best quality.
The prices, the coverage.
The coverage is great.
It was the same, if not better.
Consumer Cellular provides the exact same premium coverage as the nation's leading carriers for half the cost. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get talk, text, and data starting at just $20 a month.
It's like 4 scoops of ice cream for the price of 1.
Switch today and get a 100% risk-free guarantee. Call or go online.
This winter, Ho-Chunk Gaming Wittenberg wants you to unleash the Snow Beast. Win a 2023 Ski-Doo Renegade Enduro snowmobile with an enclosed trailer from Anago Yamaha. Then we'll send you to AJ's Walleye Lodge in the UP for 5 days and 4 nights of serious powder. Earn points, rewards, play, and entries. We'll give it away Saturday, January 28th at 9 p.m. Unleash the Snow Beast at Ho-Chunk Gaming Wittenberg.
Right now on Newswatch 12 today, find out how one state representative is eyeing up the new year and what some of the biggest hurdles may be. Plus...
All right, we're waking up to some snow showers out there this morning. How long will we hold on to those? Your full forecast is coming up.
And we'll tell you just how close the House is to getting a Speaker of the House elected. It's Thursday, January 5th.
Newswatch 12 today with Michael Lodeholtz and Devin Biggs.
And welcome back. Sorry for those technical difficulties earlier, but we should be up and rolling at 6:33 a.m. So, over the past year, the Conservation Fund has been working to receive easements on the 70,000-acre Pelican River Forest. most of which is in eastern Oneida County. It would be the largest conservation effort in state history. But in November, the State Joint Finance Committee sent a memo to the DNRs saying that an anonymous legislature objected to the DNR's plan to use Knowles Nelson funds for the project. Newswatch 12 recently learned that State Senator Mary Felskowski of Tomahawk is the one who objected to the DNR's plan. Our own Kyle Pozorski has more on that from Madison. Kyle?
Michael, it was on Tuesday when I sat down with State Senator Mary Felskowski to ask what her involvement was in the Joint Finance Committee's decision. This is what she had to say.
So I'll be real honest, and I'm going to throw it out there right now. I voted to hold it up.
Senator Felskowski's comments came minutes before Governor Evers was sworn in for a second four-year term. She says she's heard from residents in the town of Monaco who raised concerns over the proposed project.
It takes 69% of the land mass in the town of Monaco and makes it so it's never developable into perpetuity.
Part of the senator's concerns stem from a need to keep land available for development to attract potential young buyers.
They want to buy land and build. They want to buy land and recreate. And guess what? They're competing with the state of Wisconsin to do that. We're taking this away from our youth. If you want to live up there, you want to buy 80 acres to hunt on, you want 80 acres to build a cabin with your family, can't do it, because you can't find it.
Felskowski says she is not opposed to owning state land in Wisconsin, but will rather see it near population centers. In this legislative session, which has just begun, it is likely that we will see a meeting, which the JFC said they will do, but a date has not yet been set. In Madison, Kyle Pozorski, Newswatch 12.
Thanks, Kyle. And moving forward to weather, it's been a pleasant morning so far. Not quite as much snow as I think we anticipated, but, you know, easy enough for us driving around. And Devin is in the Weather Center now. Devin, how's our day looking?
Well, I still want to throw a little caution out there. The roads are kind of messy in a few spots this morning. I know it's slippery for me coming into work. My anti-lock brakes were working quite a bit. But Lauren, when we had her on the air earlier, said the roads were improving. So that is some good news. Road crews are working their magic, and we're seeing some of that out there now. Some of the road crews working on it. I'm seeing a little bit more roadways on the camera over in Park Falls, where it looks like some snow is still falling in a few spots. The winter weather advisory extended for Ashland and Iron counties until 3 o'clock this afternoon because of the snow that continues to fall, with at least a couple more inches that can't be ruled out, and the roadways that may be a mess from time to time. We're seeing this developing right now. Kind of going for the northeast, going for the south and west with some snow along the south of Wausau. Not seeing much returns in Rhinelander and areas nearby, but there's some very teeny tiny flakes that are falling out there this morning. Here's those temperatures right now. We're in the middle 20s here in the Northwoods. We'll see these temperatures falling as the day progresses on, with even some 30s further down toward the south. Again, we'll be falling down to the single digits later on tonight. Here's the forecast. I think it's pretty much a lot of 27s on this chart here. We'll start cooling off later on this afternoon. High today, 27 degrees, above our average high of 23 degrees. We'll cool off into the single digits tonight. Michael?
Thanks, Devin. It was a busy week in Madison, with the Assembly, Senate, and statewide office holders being sworn in. While Democrats control most of the executive positions, the Republicans are in control of the legislature. In his inauguration address, the governor called for working together across party lines. Rhinelander Assemblyman Rob Swearingen says one area which Republicans and Democrats seem to not agree on is abortion. Swearingen says that legislation is up in the air.
There's a lot of opinions in the caucus of 64 Assembly Republicans on abortion, so it's not a slam dunk that's exactly what we're going to do. But for the most part, I think most of us agree that we can do an exception for rape and incest. The governor says no.
Swearingen says he supports exceptions for rape, incest, and the life of the mother. Another legislative item Republicans may explore is a flat tax.
I think that our top percentage now is at 7.5, starting somewhere in like 3.5. So that's quite a range. So I think it's something that certainly deserves the discussion and potentially the debate on the floor. Will it happen? Remains to be unseen.
Governor Evers has vowed not to support the flat tax. He's called for a more progressive tax rate that would cut taxes on the middle class. And former Green Bay Packer Bill Ferrario has pleaded not guilty to disorderly conduct and operating while intoxicated, his second offense. Ferrario was booked into the Marathon County Jail on Tuesday. He has now been released after posting his $1,500 signature bond. The 44-year-old Wausau resident was drafted by the Green Bay Packers in 2001 and retired in 2005. On Tuesday, police were called to Ferrario's home after someone reported he was intoxicated and yelling, and that they were scared of him. At his court appearance on Wednesday, He was also charged with his second OWI. That charge comes from an incident last fall where he blew 3 times the legal limit on a preliminary breath test. His next court appearance is on February 8th. The Oneida County Sheriff's Office is asking for the public's help in locating Cody Camrath. He is 5'7" and 150 pounds with shoulder-length, light brown curly hair. Authorities say if you see Camrath, do not approach him or make contact with him. Just after 7 p.m. last night, the Sheriff's Office says he was witnessed in several locations, including Rhinelander and Minocqua. If you see him, contact the Oneida County Dispatch Center at the number on your screen. And a statewide alert has been issued out of Florence County for 2 snowmobilers that were reported stolen from a seasonal cabin. According to the Florence County Sheriff's Office, 2 snowmobiles were reported stolen from a seasonal cabin and camp in the town of Homestead. The theft reportedly happened on December 23rd and was reported on December 28th. The snowmobiles were seen by a snowmobile rider parked alongside a trail in the town of Aurora on Christmas Eve, unoccupied. The snowmobiles are a lime green 2001 Arctic Cat 600 and a black and orange 2013 Arctic Cat 800C, both with Michigan registration stickers. Anyone with information can contact the Florence County Sheriff's Office. The Department of Justice has received a trove of new documents from state officials in Wisconsin and Nevada related to efforts to overturn the 2020 election. Special counsel Jack Smith is in possession of extensive documentation from election officials in Milwaukee County, Wisconsin, and Clark County, Nevada. The documents include communications with lawyers working on behalf of former President Donald Trump. Smith's team sent subpoenas to local and state officials in 7 key states: Georgia, New Mexico, Nevada, Michigan, Arizona, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. The states were targeted by Trump and his allies in their bid to overturn the results of the presidential election. A significant part of the investigation involves the Trump campaign effort to convene false electors to change the results of the Electoral College. And as the crisis at the border continues and migrants arrive in various cities across the nation, President Joe Biden has announced his intentions to visit the border. President Biden made the announcement Wednesday while speaking with reporters in Kentucky. This would be the President Biden's first border visit since taking office. Plans for the visit also come as hundreds of migrants arrived in Florida Keys last weekend, forcing the closure of a national park. When asked about visiting the border, President Biden noted that the details are currently being worked out. President Biden is scheduled to attend the North American Leaders Summit in Mexico City next week. And more votes on Capitol Hill, more uncertainty. There's still no House Speaker after Republican leader Kevin McCarthy failed to secure enough votes for a second day in a row. There's been a series of closed-door talks between Republicans to try to work things out. NBC's Bree Jackson has more.
No person having received the
Day 2 of the new Congress resembling day 1.
A speaker has not been elected. A speaker has not been elected.
Republican Kevin McCarthy failing to secure the House Speaker position for the 6th time.
We just keep talking. That's all. We talk until we get this done.
McCarthy now putting new offers on the negotiating table, such as placing Freedom Caucus members on key committees. Critics doubt his concessions are enough to win over the 20 right-wing Republicans standing firmly against him.
He's a desperate guy whose vote share is dropping with every subsequent vote, and I'm ready to vote all night, all week, all month, and never for that person.
Even former President Trump's calls for GOP members to support McCarthy have fallen on deaf ears.
If we continue down this path, I think it hurts the Republican Party.
Without a speaker in place, work on Capitol Hill is at a standstill. New members can't be sworn in, and committees can't be formed.
My point is, we have work to do that we can't do right now.
The speaker standoff shows little sign of ending.
We have not heard one thing from either Kevin McCarthy or his enemies in the GOP about what they will do to make the lives of Americans better.
President Biden is weighing in on the bitter battle, calling it an embarrassment, tarnishing the country's image.
This is not a good look. It's not a good thing. It's the United States of America, and I hope they get their act together.
House members will cast more votes for Speaker today. Many wonder, will the third day be the charm? In Washington, Bree Jackson for NBC News.
Coming up next in sports, see how a local Northwoods resident has gone all the way up the ranks in NASCAR. And the Bucks are back at it again. See if they can stay on a hot streak in Canada. Plus,
The roads are a little bit slippery out there in a few spots. Along those roads remain slippery out more coming up.
and we're going to be joined by Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen right after this break.
Mr. Food Test Kitchen is brought to you by Golden Carrot Jewelers and Creative Kitchen and Bath Studio.
Let me introduce you to a new trend that's spreading like wildfire. It's salads made in a jar. The idea behind them is we can make them ahead of time. This way, they're always ready to grab and go. So let me show you how easy it is to throw together this cheeseburger salad in a jar. The first thing we do is pour our dressing in a wide-mouth quart-sized canning jar. And remember, always put the dressing on the bottom so the veggies don't get soggy. On top of that goes a few cherry tomatoes that we've cut in half, followed by layers of chopped pickles, red onion, and shredded cheddar cheese. Now, to make this taste like a cheeseburger, we add a layer of ground beef that we've browned with ketchup and mustard. We finish this off with some lettuce, put the top on, and into the fridge it goes until we're ready to chow down. There you have it. Layer after layer of what tastes like a cheeseburger in the form of a new trendy salad. And the options are endless. As a matter of fact, if you want the recipe for our chef salad in a jar, the Greek mason jar salad, and our cheeseburger salad in a jar, all you have to do is go to our website. Let me tell you, these are fun. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a trendy
and delicious
way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
If you're a contractor or do-it-yourselfer, make Argonne Lumber your first stop. High-quality materials, personalized service, expert staff, and delivery are just some of the things Argonne Lumber is known for. Stop in and smell the lumber at Argonne Lumber, 2 locations in Argonne and Rhinelander.
Welcome back. Let's get things rolling out there on this Thursday morning. And, of course, snow is moving around out there. We have some snow on the roadways. It continues to snow over in the Park Falls area. Other areas, not as much. Roads might be a little slippery out there. Take it slow this morning as you might encounter some of that. Winter weather advisories only for 3 counties in the state here, and mainly this encompassing Ashland and Iron counties, as a few more inches of snow cannot be ruled out there with a band of snow that's currently moving through. Let's throw the radar into motion here. We're seeing some moving in across parts of the UP and parts of Ashland and Iron counties, in areas to the south and west near Eau Claire, Wausau areas to the south as well. We have very small flakes in Rhinelander at this point, but we'll see a little bit more snow moving in as the day progresses on. Add the clouds to the picture here. We have plenty of clouds holding on along with that snow with area of low pressure farther down toward the south, and it looks a little bit like this. So the center low pressure located right about in there, so we'll be tracking off towards the east, and we have high pressure right behind it. So give it a little bit here, and that means by tomorrow we'll start seeing the sun peek out a bit, but by Saturday, it'll really be nice that the sunshine finally comes back out. So at least starting tomorrow, though, I would definitely make sure to have those sunglasses ready to go. Here's Futurecast moving forward, though. Again, snow showers lasting for most of the daytime today and a little bit into tonight as well. By overnight tonight, things will start to calm down. We'll hold on to the clouds overall, but as we head through Friday, the clouds start to break up a bit, but not completely. We'll keep those rolling for most of the day in general with a few peaks of sunshine. But by Saturday morning, we'll start getting these clouds out of here with a lot of sunshine for most of the day. How much additional snowfall could we see? This is on top of what's already fallen, at least another ½ inch, maybe up to 1 inch before we're all finished up. Localized areas to the north, up to 2 inches can't be ruled out where that band of snow continues to move through. So most of the snowfall here just about done. On top of that, though, a little bit of wind, nothing too ridiculous. Maybe a few gusts today up to 15 miles per hour out of the north in general. By tonight, they swing out of the northwest with gusts up to 10 miles per hour. So in general, the winds will be rather calm moving forward with just a few gusts. There won't be anything too ridiculous. So temperatures not bad out there either. We're in the middle 20s. Here in the Northwoods, 24 degrees in Mansowish Waters, 26 degrees in Eagle River, 28 degrees in Tomahawk with lower 30s. Further down toward the south, except Mozambique, currently at 28 degrees as well. So your forecast for today, the upper 20s holding on for most of the day. Still showers with another ½ inch to an inch possible. Maybe localized areas up to 2 inches. The northeast wind getting up to about 5 to 10 miles per hour. As for tonight, 7 degrees, mostly cloudy with a few flurries early. The northwest wind getting up to about 5 miles per hour. And as for tomorrow, here we go. Lower 20s, mostly cloudy. The sun will come out from time to time. Have those sunglasses ready to go. The northwest wind getting up to about 5 miles per hour at times as well. Northwoods Furniture and Mattress 7-day forecast. Look at this dry stretch here. So, of course, clouds by Friday, highs in the lower 20s, upper 20s by the weekend, and a partly cloudy sky. The lower 30s return on Monday, remaining partly cloudy. More clouds moving Tuesday. Slight chance for snow, mainly lake effect snow chances. Then we'll get that out of here by Wednesday, mostly cloudy. Highs then in the mid-20s. Michael?
Thanks, Devin. Parker Retzlaff is a Rhinelander native who's been competing part-time in the NASCAR's Xfinity Series and the Camping World Truck Series for a while now. But yesterday, he announced that he'll be moving up into the stock car racing world. Saul Meyer has more.
Rhinelander native Parker Retzlaff announced that he will be driving in the NASCAR Xfinity Series full-time. He had competed in the division for a while, but is now going to race full-time in the series. Retzlaff will be driving the Funkaway-sponsored number 31 car, a Chevy Camaro, for this season. The Xfinity Series' first event will be February 18th at the Daytona International Speedway in the Beef It's What's for Dinner 300 race. The Milwaukee Bucks were able to take down the Washington Wizards Tuesday night 123-113 at home. However, the Bucks had to have a quick turnaround one day later when they traveled up to Canada to take on the Toronto Raptors. Let's see if it's no rest, no problem for the Milwaukee Bucks when they played their second game in 2 days. This was a battle between the third-ranked team in the East and the 12th-ranked team in the East. Early on, the Bucks started out hot, a 7-0 run to start the game that all started off with this Pat Connaughton 3-ball. Don't be fooled, though. None of these teams hit 20 points by the end of the first quarter. How about that second quarter? Well, still a lack of scoring, except from this big 3-ball here from rookie MarJon Beauchamp. He had himself a double-digit scoring day. Fourth quarter, and the Bucks were rolling. Giannis finds A.J. Green down low for the easy 2, but finishing this game wasn't easy. Bucks ended up winning it in overtime, 104-101. The Green Bay Packers have their regular season finale this Sunday at Lambeau Field against the Detroit Lions, where the stakes are as high as ever. It's win or go home for the Packers as they control their own destiny after all hope seemed lost earlier this month. Both the Lions and the Packers are 8-8, and if Green Bay wins, they're in the playoffs. However, the Lions can qualify if they win and the Seattle Seahawks lose their game at home against the LA Rams. Packers head coach Matt LaFleur says that the Lions, who have been a historically bad franchise, have showed glimpses of turning that team around.
You have to learn how to win, and I think they've done that, and that's what makes them so dangerous. And I think with every win, there comes a little bit more confidence, a little bit more belief that no matter what the circumstances are, that you're going to be able to fight through it.
Coach LaFleur also says that this team can beat anyone in the league because of their tough, physical style that Lions coach Dan Campbell teaches.
We know you got an NFC North opponent coming in here that prides themselves on that style of play, and I think it's going to be imperative for us. And typically, a lot of times in these situations, the teams that's the most physical will win the game.
The Packers will host the Lions this Sunday night on NBC. The Milwaukee Brewers have been the only franchise in the MLB to not spend any money in free agency until now. General Manager Matt Arnold and the rest of the front office made some big moves yesterday. The first big move was the acquisition of right-handed pitcher Bryce Wilson from the Pittsburgh Pirates for cash considerations. Wilson has a 9-17 career record and a 5.54 ERA in 56 games. That includes 43 starts. The next big move that they made was signing left-handed pitcher Wade Miley to a 1-year, $4.5 million contract. This is the Crew's first free agency signing of the offseason, making them the final team to do so. Back to y'all, Morning Crew.
Thanks, Saul. And coming up, see how some Central Wisconsin actors are getting into character for an entertaining performance. We'll be right back with some more local news and weather after the break.
Hey there, I'm Lance Bass, and this is CHIP. For more than 100 years, American Humane has been on the front lines protecting animals in times of crisis. From Pearl Harbor to 9/11, the California wildfires, and the coronavirus pandemic, American Humane Rescue has provided life-saving assistance for animals in virtually every major national disaster. If you're anything like me, your pets mean the world to you. And if disaster strikes, you want to keep them safe. To prepare for an oncoming disaster, ensure your pet has secure and up-to-date identification. And if you must evacuate, remember to take your disaster preparedness kit with you. To learn more about disaster planning and how to keep your best friends safe, please visit AmericanHumane.org.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call Low Cost Airlines. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call now.
News Watch 12 today with Michael Lodeholtz and Devin Biggs.
And welcome back this morning. It's 6:54 a.m. and it's opening night for the Marshfield Area Actors production of a New Year's Eve party. First, they will be performing New Year's Eve, a play where everyone is eagerly preparing for New Year's Eve until they find out the new year may never come. After intermission, the Marshfield Area Actors will be presenting a holiday music review to usher out the Christmas season. The show starts at 7 p.m. at the Chestnut Center for the Arts in Marshfield. Tickets are $10 and the show runs all weekend. Find Marshfield Area Actors on Facebook for more info.
That'd be kind of terrifying if it just stayed December 31st forever and ever and ever.
Now, see, is that kind of like Groundhog's Day, or is that just like the day doesn't end? Do I still get tired? Like, am I taking multiple naps a day?
Does time just freeze? Do we just become a whole bunch of statues?
Exactly. There's a lot of questions to go with this production, I feel.
I know, right? You gotta watch it to really see how it goes. So, because you see some of those holiday specials too, like Rudolph's Shiny New Year. The Baby New Year's not returned, and it stays December 31st.
But you know something else I'd love to know?
Is trivia question.
Trivia question. I'm itching for it.
You're peeking at it during the break too. Let's get that. Let's get this rolling here. What is the minimum range of ice thickness needed for it to be safe to drive a medium-sized truck? Is it 3 to 6 inches, 6 to 11 inches, 12 inches or higher, or the length of Michael's car? The answer when we come back.
This portion of News Watch 12 is brought to you by Furniture and Appliance Mart.
Get up to 80% off list prices during our huge inventory reduction sale at Slumberland Furniture. $20 million worth of furniture and mattresses must go. Lowest prices around on TV consoles, recliners, bar stools, sofas, mattresses, and lots more. Get the deal of a lifetime on clearance, one-of-a-kinds, scratch and dents, and more. Stores are packed with merchandise that must go. Up to 80% off at the huge inventory reduction sale on now at Slumberland Furniture.
Music every weekend, never a cover, and drinks priced right. TV, pool, darts, and more. It's Happy's Pub in downtown Woodruff.
Weather Watch 12 with Devin Biggs, 5 to 7 a.m.
All right, trivia for today. What is the minimum range of ice thickness needed for it to be safe to drive a medium-sized truck? So we're talking about those Chevy trucks that are pretty decently sized.
Exactly, the Chevy trucks. All right, well, I'm going to have a guess of C, 12 inches or higher.
And you sure you don't want to say your car?
I think that'd be very thick ice.
Have you measured the length of your car?
I have not measured the length of my car. It's not something on my usual to-do list.
Right, 12 inches or higher is the correct answer, though. So I guess technically, though, know, it would be correct if it is over 12 inches. So I'd imagine it would be probably a few feet for that matter. So I think it's safe to say that we would be okay in that regard. So here's that chart again. Notice so a lot of people are out ice fishing, a lot of shanties out already. And we're kind of at that point, kind of dancing between cars and small trucks and medium-sized trucks to get those get the vehicles out in the lakes as the ice thickness. For the most part, it's about a foot. Obviously, check those ice conditions before driving out there. We don't need any vehicles falling through or getting stuck for that matter. So drill a hole, check it out, or take, what is it? Well, those ice spuds, what do they call them, Michael?
Goodness gracious. Are they the ladles? Like you can drill a hole, you put the ladle down, and you kind of judge the thickness using that?
That's one way. You can also hit the ice, too. I can't remember what that's called, though. I've been told that before by Curse Island Sports Shop. I can't remember for the life of me what it is right now. But otherwise, winter weather advisory in effect until 3 o'clock now for Ashland and Iron County. So outside our immediate viewing area, but still seeing some snow as a result. We'll throw this radar into motion real quick, and that's kind of the general idea. We're still seeing this area low pressure that's rotating off towards the east slowly, but later on tonight and tomorrow we'll start seeing this taper off. But a half inch to maybe an inch still cannot be ruled out. So the worst of it's pretty much done at this point.